early. We are giving away a knife tonight. Someone will choose either the Half-Breed Blades medium combat knife in OD green or coyote tan. We had only 41 contestants for this. All you had to do to win one of these knives, which was donated to support the Knife News Update by Half-Breed Blades, was send me some knife news. Go look for it, whatever it is. A lot of it I'd already heard. Don't matter, just get involved. I would encourage you to watch the Knife News Update. It is the last Friday of every month. We are a little bit early, so I'm going to give it about 5 minutes before we actually do this. That was my wife flushing the toilet.
I just went pee.
Oh yeah.
That's what I would say too.
So we are here with the news today.
Hey, brother.
And what's up, Don?
Hey.
All right, so we're gonna give it a second. 8:30. We'll do the random number generator on his phone, and I don't know. This will probably be a fairly short live video. Maybe it won't be. Maybe you guys want to talk about some other stuff. Real quick, as an update for the Michigan power plant situation. The local news in Michigan is saying that the power outages, good to have you, Rick. Power outages were caused by heavy windstorms. What's up, Weston? And weather. So, as far as I understand, I have video. I'll probably do a video here shortly. I have video of the workers being evacuated. Misreading, what's up, man? I'll let you know in here in just a second. I have video of the workers being evacuated. So far, they are still not back at work. So here's the deal. No, a windstorm 2 nights ago didn't take down a couple power lines, so they shut down 4 coal power plants that were already set up for years to be shut down, right? Closed down the turbines because of a little bit of wind. Those people are still out of work. So they're planting something in the building, or they're preparing for something else. Kind of a wild situation over there. Misreading the River said we hardly talk anymore. I haven't been making a lot of videos. Yeah, they're telling people it's wind damage, but they had a reason for evacuating the Twin Towers too. So, yeah, you don't shut down a power plant and actually stop the turbines in your coal power plant because of wind damage. Not how it works. My computer's down. Enjoy the kids, bud. So I just dropped off my computer today, and Lord willing, I'll be getting a 1 terabyte solid state hard drive, and maybe it'll actually be a good computer. Because it was like kind of okay-ish, but it just like choked all the time for no reason before. Maybe with a better hard drive, maybe the hard drive was always the problem. We'll see. It is 8:28.
But you carried a knife similar to this size with you in Afghanistan, didn't you?
A little larger than this, actually.
So you made a video on how you mounted it and the options on the kit, right?
No.
No.
I did not. I did a few different ways. I don't have pictures of my kit in Afghanistan that show all of the different ways that I wore it. I could recreate it, but it wasn't a very good knife for that. It was the Tops Dart. It was one of the first ever made in S30V when that was a brand new steel. And at that time with Tops, if you wanted your knife to come brand new from the factory sharp, you had to choose that in the drop-down menu and pay extra for it.
Wow.
Otherwise, it had a working edge to be tougher.
So what'd you call the style that you carried it? that on the back of your kit. What was that style?
I didn't ever carry it on the back of my kit. I don't get the
Or was it in the front?
in the front?
I think you called that like a scout setup,
Scout.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's called Scout on the back.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Okay. The Scouts like things in the back. What's up, Double Z? And from North Carolina and Oregon. Handle down on your pack strap like a real operator. Doggone it, Hollywood. Crazy veteran, good to have you. Is this real? No. This is actually all a digitized illusion.
It's a simulation.
It's a simulation, basically, and you're living in a little bubble, and your excrements and bodily fluids are actually being harvested for an alien race.
Bunch of zeros and ones.
Yeah, it's basically what it is. Glock field knife came dual as an MF. I've never heard that. I've actually always thought about reviewing those. I'm kind of surprised because I always hear good things about them, especially for the price.
They look kind of ugly, don't they?
I think they look kind of cool, but I've always thought that they were kind of crap, like junk, and they're so cheap. But I guess they're made in Austria and they aren't that bad.
Kind of seems like a gimmicky, like, oh, it's a Glock knife.
But I think it actually is, though.
Really?
I don't really know.
I have to look into it.
I guess the Glock knives are big money now.
I don't think they were going for very much a couple of years ago.
Where are you guys? Bro, I already told you we're in the Matrix.
Not like a 10-digit grid.
So, let's see here. It's 8:31. It is time to start the random number generator. Now, a lot of you guys sent me emails and you sent me long messages. I did, glad you enjoyed the sling, man. I did read everybody's long message, and I do appreciate all of them. I just responded with a number and general information because I got way more traction than I expected, and I didn't have enough time to do long emails justice. So, but I did appreciate them greatly. We have 41 numbers here, and see if you guys can see this. Why is it? It says 4 up there. I'm not gonna count that because I didn't press the button. 1 to 44, and generate. That's 20. 20. Mitchell Black via email. So, Mitchell Black. Oops. Here, you can go back to your tube with you. Send me an email. Oh, he's on here. You win. Send me your address. Since you're already here, would you like the tan knife with green scales and green sheath, or the OD green knife with purple scales and tan sheath? Let me know. Oh, and with this, you will be getting the half-breed blades. Purple, please. You're the man. You'll be getting the whole half-breed blades package. Very deluxe. I've never used this knife, by the way. It's completely brand new. Comes with this in here. You have stickers and patches.
Oh, that makes it worth it.
This is the new Half-Breed Blades patch. It's all blacked out. Pretty cool. I'm going to throw in a couple extra Half-Breed Blades patches in here. I think I've got a few that you'll like. So I'm going to throw a few extras in here. However, this all folds back up. And then the knife will be in here, the sheath will be in here, and it also comes with an extra tech lock. So you can run this however the heck that you want. Actually, I'm going to package it up right now. This will probably will not ship out tomorrow. I'm going to be honest, this will probably ship out Monday. especially again since my laptop is in the shop getting a new hard drive. I do all of my shipping from my laptop, so that's kind of an important thing. For that reason, also, I do all my YouTube editing on my laptop. My YouTube videos. That knife is Boner City. That's hilarious. My YouTube videos are being delayed a bit. For those of you who are wondering, misreading the river. That's what I was gonna say earlier. Delayed.
Well, congratulations for.
Congrats. It's a sick knife setup. I believe these are about $350. They might be about $400. It's really a cool thing. Thank you everybody for sending in news. Thank you for emailing your address. Thank you for everybody for becoming involved with the Knife News Update. The last Friday of every single month is going to be the Knife News Update. Please watch it. Please share it. I will premiere it so we can watch it at the same time and talk about it as it's playing, and I'll try and keep it up to speed and a little bit humorous if I can help it. I can't make any guarantees because I'm not a very funny person.
Yeah.
So, Mitchell, sorry if I said Michael, Mitchell Black. Oh, 20% power. Is there anything? Oh, so the other thing. Today is Friday, right?
Today is in fact Friday.
Fixed Blade Friday. Boom. Half breed blades, medium infantry knife. As easy as that. You'll notice it's a medium infantry knife. They don't make any medium scout knives. I wonder why.
I bet they do.
They don't. Half breed blades doesn't.
Well,
They actually have a few infantry knives. I mean, I don't know. I can ask them why they don't make any scout knives. Cheese and crackers. Hey, so seriously though, Knife News Updates has always had a few sponsors. Please check out my sponsors because the Knife News Update is a freaking ton of work. And the sponsors are what makes it worth it. So when I put up those sponsors, guys, check them out. If they're not cool, I'm not going to put them up there. Maybe someday, like War Thunder or something will sponsor me, and then I won't, expect you to check it out necessarily. But Last Fatal Hour said he's not the only knife freak. Yeah, so you know what? I didn't actually think that my YouTube channel would be so knife then. You're going to give away the other half-breed knife after testing it. So the other half-breed knife, this guy right here, I might test it to death. Not totally sure yet. If I do test it to death, I could do a giveaway on it in 2 pieces, make a little plaque or something for it.
there you go.
Sign it. Nobody'd want it.
Might want the scales.
The scales are sick.
Yeah.
But it'll probably break. But I'm thinking Resurrection Knives. I'll have to look them up. I'm thinking I'm gonna have a garage sale pretty soon, and for that knife garage sale, I might do something special. I might do a giveaway here on one of my favorite knives that I have that I'm going to get rid of.
You could do a live stream while you're doing it, like one of the late night knife sales.
That's an excellent idea. Yeah. I'd probably have to cut myself or something in the video though. Be like, this knife is like so fantastic, it could never fail you, and then
just arterial like spurting.
You smell Dax's farts right now?
No.
Oh my gosh, your nose must be broke.
Might mean.
He is just tearing it up. It's so gross.
Well, I've been
It's sour.
sniffing molten metal for the last 6 months. So.
It's sour. Ever do a video for your favorite scout carry knives? Preferred carry for ranch work. Well, he's the scout.
Man of taste.
He's the scout. I usually don't like scout carry on the back because I don't like resheathing it.
I think it's going to vary based off of your individual kit as well, depending on what mission and what your objective is.
I don't ever like having a knife back there. Because, like I said, I don't like resheathing. Also,
Yeah.
people will tell you that you are good to have you double Z, far more likely to injure yourself with scout carry if you fall on your back or something. It, I guess, can make it more likely to pop a vertebrae or
I was
break
just
your
like
back.
carrying my knife on my pack, either on the outside or somewhere quickly accessible, because I never felt like I would need it in an instant. Just like,
It's because of your support.
no. You know, the scouts go ahead of the infantry to tell them what's coming,
Yeah, but
and then the infantry follows up.
yeah, but you guys do the looking, and then the infantry does the fighting. But what's really funny about it is on my deployment, I was basically a scout. So,
Yeah, you hear scouts say they're basically infantry. No, your infantrymen saying you're basically a scout.
well, I was basically a scout.
Yeah.
Because I was doing Rista, recon. Our scouts were basically 88 mics. If that
Yeah, that's pretty,
changes anything.
It's pretty. It's like everybody gets bumped down a level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you just admitted that the scouts bumped down from an infantryman.
I did, didn't I?
Okay, so I carried on my kit. I think like this for a while on my kit, and I carried horizontally at the bottom of my kit under my mags for a while. Switched it up quite a few times. I actually carried a battle axe for a little while. My graduation present from Dad was a GG&G battle axe.
So was that like a utility carry, or was that a I'm a cool guy carry?
I don't really honestly know if it was either.
It was just something you had to have on your kit.
He got it for me. It was cool. It was heavy because it was also S30V. I think it was a 1/4 inch thick or thicker. It was a thick boy. It wasn't very sharp, and I didn't get to use it for almost anything. And some Germans stole it when I moved from. Here, let me look at this. I think I've fallen way behind when I moved from Germany when I PCS.
Freaking Krauts.
Okay, let's see here. Opinion on the GM6 Lynx semi-auto 50 cal bullpup. I don't know, man. I don't know. Last Fatal Hour says I use a CRKT for yard work and can't keep it sharp enough. Depending on the CRKT, there are some options that may help you. I would advise looking into the Work Sharp Precision Angle Adjust Sharpening System. You'll get it sharp, and once you get it sharp, you can just strop it and most likely keep it sharp. No problem. It's fantastic. Do I have an opinion on the Fallkniven A1? The only Fallkniven that I had, I wasn't super impressed with. They do have thick convex edge usually that I don't typically prefer, but they are of excellent quality. I think probably you can't go wrong. Do you like the Keltec SU-16? No. And a question just like that got me into all kinds of heat recently. But if you'd like me to go into detail, I would probably be happy to. Yeah. No. Okay. James Williams design daggers. An Egyptian dagger. I'm not really familiar with him.
Did you make a video on the Keltec deal?
Oh, yeah, a few.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a few videos about my relationship with Keltec and their douchebag marketing guy.
Different arcs. You got your MK arc, Keltec arc, BRC.
What's the MK arc?
The dual knives.
Ultimate survival tips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was his name? Dave
Dave.
something Berry.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't even remember.
Dingleberry?
It was a bad deal.
Yeah.
It was a bad deal.
Rock Smash.
Okay, so what's the difference between Scouts' functionalities in Afghanistan and Iraq war style fighting compared to more conventional warfare scenario? There shouldn't be any difference. I'm sure there is. It depends on your unit, but a Scout should be observing and collecting intel, data, and running real-time info.
Yeah. The Army doesn't know what to do with them a lot of the time, though, so they kind of get thrown into different roles. Like Jake was saying, in his experience, they're kind of acting more like 88 Mikes.
The Army doesn't know what to do with anything because they've got infantry guys doing scout jobs doing other people's jobs, and other people doing. Because they don't have like the common sense to have people who are trained to do something go out and actually do it. The Army's a freaking crap show, to keep it PG, in case you guys are wondering. Learn to sharpen with stones. I'd like to, it probably won't happen. Kipper said the PMR 30 rules, knives not so much. So here's the thing, like, besides the fact that I now hate Keltec, and that's the way it is, if I was going to get a Peltec, that's fantastic. A Keltec, it would be for fun, and I have no problem with that. I think you can buy any freaking gun you want for fun. I fully support that. It's when you're looking at a gun for a serious role that your decision becomes important.
That dependability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Practicality, dependability, and what else is available on the market. Because you can have a gun that is acceptable at everything that you need it to do, but if another gun that's the same cost or cheaper is better at literally everything, and you're using it as a tool and you're training and you're serious about it, then that first gun that's kind of acceptable at everything, not such a good option anymore.
Do you think it's kind of irresponsible for manufacturers to use real world situations as examples for those things, and being so steadfast in what they say just for the sake of marketing, telling people that they can depend on it, when their life's in danger?
Marketing is marketing.
Business is business, but do you think it's kind of irresponsible when they're making promises that a lot of the time aren't kept?
Someone asked if I ever tested any Dawson knives. I have not, and I would love to. Is it irresponsible? Yes. Is it? But half the time they have no freaking idea.
Right.
So you've got some internet boy who is paid to market a product, and he markets a doggone product. So,
well, how does a lot of that stuff even slip through the cracks? Because, for example, we were talking about the rollout pins on the daggers earlier. It kind of seems like if you just had 3 people, 5 people go through a course like Tactical Response and dump several thousand rounds of ammo through it, that things like that would come, float to the surface and would be addressed before they released them.
well, it's a numbers game. So let's say you test and retest 5 different PSA daggers, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, guys, this design is freaking good. We've got 20,000 rounds per gun, no issues. Now when you move over to production and you do your first production run and you make 10,000 of them, maybe 300 of those had a little issue that you would have never expected. A good company would own those issues, which PSA did. They would do a warranty repair on anybody who sends theirs back, and they would change the design for the next iteration, and they would fix it.
Right.
Things will happen, especially in the early production of any product.
So when do you think that becomes a mistake that is addressed appropriately, and when it is just a trend with the manufacturer? Where's that line drawn?
So how a manufacturer handles it's everything. just like a warranty.
Getting that rapport and having that responsibility for what happened.
Like Honda will do a recall on an old car that's 10 years old because some problem they find, and they'll advertise it and fix everybody's for free. GM will know that there's a problem for 20 years, will go through lawsuits over it, will say that it doesn't exist, or Remington say that it doesn't exist for decades, and then if they have enough lawsuits where they're forced to do something, then they'll recall millions reluctantly. That's the wrong thing to do. Remington just dealt with the biggest recall in firearms history with the Remington 700 triggers. It's a problem they knew existed for decades, and they did nothing about it for decades of production. That is wrong. Owning a problem, hey guys, this is a problem. We found it. We'll fix it for free. They fix it. They resolve the problem. That's a good manufacturer.
That makes sense.
I would. Someone commented they have a Keltec sub 2000. I wouldn't mind playing with the sub 2000.
That's their little carbine
9mm
thing.
folder. Yeah, that can take Glock mags, or you
These
can get
things
one
are
Smith
butt
Wesson.
ugly. It'd be fun, but they are a butt ugly gun.
If it ran good, which I've heard a lot of them don't or do or whatever, if it didn't break, if it was reliable, yeah, it'd be fun. I'd play with it. I'd play with it in a heartbeat. I'd play with any gun.
What's kind of sad is, wouldn't you put that kind of on the same on par with high point carbines?
No.
I kind of feel like I'd group those together.
No. A lot of people would, but no.
Yeah.
Have you shot a high point carbine?
No.
It's a really bad deal.
I feel like the sub 2000 has cases where it's not working all that great.
Oh yeah. Every Keltec does.
Yeah.
Yeah, every single one. They're crap. He said some of us were Navy. 88 Mike. 88 Mike's a truck driver. My battle buddy was an 88 Mike doing a scout job with me as well. Fantastic guy. But I mean, you know, a scout didn't join the Army to be a scout to drive a truck, potentially, if that's what they're all doing. So, you know, it is more support.
Kind of seems like nowadays people join the Army being a scout to go and profile.
So that's the whole military.
Yeah.
Keltec sent 2,000 guns to Ukraine, so clearly they're pro-Russian.
Jeez.
Ever tested? Okay, Dawson knives. Swimming with sharks in Australia, and a Glock 19X. If your pistol can't do that, then bleh. I don't know how you get a 19X in Australia. They're kind of commies. I've done quite a bit of swimming with pistols, and you've done some swimming with your 19X, haven't you?
Yep.
Check mark. Done. I wouldn't swim with my pistol in salt water.
Yeah, that might be a little bit
corrosive. It's not that like I want to baby my guns, but it doesn't sound.
Maybe that's where you grab the Keltec.
Yeah. No, because it's like awful before you get in the water, and then you're toting it through the water, and you get out, and it's more awful.
Yeah, but it might be like the radioactive vat that makes it into a good gun, you know? Happy mistakes.
I feel like I'd rather take a high point. The high point deserves it.
You know, you
the most.
You
I actually
kinda
want one.
You lost your motivation. You used to talk about that a lot, getting at least a couple, doing something fun.
Yeah, well, you know, I remember for Black Friday in sports retailers, you could get a high point 9mm for $80. And if I could do that now, I would do it. I would do it. $80.
Isn't that money wrap that they have on some of them? Isn't that a factory coating?
Yeah. The money wrap. That one was
Because I've
$80.
seen that. I've seen that
Yeah.
in quite a few places.
That one wasn't $80, but it would be pretty good. Can you pass me my water bottle?
Could be a ball.
What's up, Stag Productions? Okay. High points come with free food stamps and a visit from CPS. Joe Stubber Nubbin Stangenson. Yes, we did announce the winner. Rando Rambo, good to have you, bud. I've seen a lot of people really enjoy the CRKT tomahawks. I think one of them's designed by RMJ. Not a big tomahawk guy. I've had some that I like though. I think HB Forge made a tomahawk that I liked. But generally, I think they're too light for most of the stuff that I want to do. I think the tomahawk's more of a fighting tool than a woods tool.
And I feel like realistically, it's more of something that's just cut out from bar stock for throwing.
Yeah, which is fun.
Yeah.
Like all my cold steel, like I've got a bunch of the cold steel cheap throwing tomahawks.
If you're gonna
I
be
get
throwing
cheap replacement
stuff,
handles. Love it. Again, the difference between a toy and a tool. If it's a toy, do it, man. Do
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Someone said they had a CRKT fall apart on them. And other people are saying CRKT make good beginner's knives. It depends on what you're buying, of course. You can get a CRKT folder. They've got the CRKT machetes. They've got the CRKT tomahawks. The machetes, I think, are made in China of an MN something or other steel that's similar to 5160. I think probably made by the same company that makes the Outdoor Edge machetes, and they're fantastic.
They make some cheaper folders,
They're
though,
great.
don't they?
Their folders, I feel like sometimes CRKT knives invest more or invested more in their designers than on their materials. But on the flip side, they've got some really high-end stuff. They've had some crazy designs, and I have a lot of respect for any manufacturer that goes out there and fields some crazy designs, crazy lock types and stuff like that. I thought they were American made way back in the day, and I was thinking about, just like everybody else, getting a CRKT M16 or whatever before my deployment. And they're in all of the military shops.
Yep.
And that's why they get carried so much, and they're fairly cheap.
I think they're even in the shopettes.
Yeah, they're in the shopettes for
Yeah.
sure. But they're not bad. I don't think they're bad.
Well, the thing is, especially if you're in the army and you just need a knife to carry with you through the day and some scumbag might steal it, you're going to be trashing it anyway. Freaking getting a flathead screw in and out of something, screwing up your edge. You don't want a super high quality knife anyway.
Well, look at the life cycle of the average army guy's knife. The average army guy knows nothing about knives, knows nothing about sharpening knives, abuses the crap out of their knife, and then either someone steals it or they lose it. How? Oh my gosh, he's killing me, dude. Your nose is just broken.
I don't know.
Go, it's like freaking diarrhea up in my nose. You're not smelling anything? You're broken.
Are you often your own?
I wish.
Are you blaming it on
I
me?
would almost be proud of it. It's so sour.
I guess that's what happens when you inhale fumes for days.
So, Mr. Dr. Evil PhD said cold steel bought SOG knives talk about crazy, but it's getting worse. I know, I'm the product tester. So technically, Cold Steel didn't buy SOG. Cold Steel and SOG were both bought by the same giant company, GSM, I think it is.
Where are they based out of?
I'm pretty sure China.
Yeah, figures.
I don't honestly know, but there's some giant company. Right, Dax is farting like crazy, and it's just like straight gaseous diarrhea.
Mariah, come over to the vicinity
Yeah,
and
come
see
get
if
a-
you smell anything.
come
Because
get-
I literally don't smell anything.
It's his nose hairs are literally curling up in his face, and he's saying he can't smell anything. So a little bit ago, Mariah was sick. The whole family was sick, and my youngest boy had the nastiest crap. Like, yeah, like you could smell this turd from like the other side of the house. It was so bad, and so I brought him to Mariah kind of as a joke, kind of being a little bit stinky, you know. And I put him over right by her, and she didn't do anything. And my oldest boy goes, "Ew, he stinks." And Mariah's like, "Stop being rude. He doesn't stink." And I almost died at like. So I turned around and I said, "Smell him." She puts his butt up into her face. She says, "I don't smell anything." Because she couldn't smell anything at all. It was bad. So funny. But apparently you've got the same problem going on.
Perception is reality.
I am interested in knowing more about you, product tester for Cold Steel and SOG knives. And there are some SOGs that I'd like to test and some Cold Steels. So, you know, if you want some help.
Hey, kind of speaking about kind of companies in general, you're talking about sponsors for Knife News.
Mm-hmm.
How do people get on that? I know you've talked about it a little bit, but
So basically, if you want to become a sponsor of the Knife News update, you just shoot me an email at the Preppers Bunker Outdoors. I'll give you the plan. We have affordable, mid-tier, and high-tier plans. For the affordable plan, you get mentioned, your product gets mentioned, and you get into the description box. Mid-tier is you have to send me a product with payment for sponsorship, and I will do a demonstration. And the most expensive one is I will do a skit in the video, outfit changes, characters, the whole thing for your product. So that one's a little bit expensive, but it's a lot of work. Okay, let's see here. Someone said CRKT, I would like better steel with them, 12C14 or 14C27 maybe. I think you mean 12C27 or 14C28N. I think they are Sandvik steels. 12C27 probably wouldn't be an upgrade from what they currently use. It's considered to be a low-grade steel, similar kind of to 420HC, how we see that. But a lot of these cheap stainless steels, when done right, are very stainless, are actually super, super tough, and easy to sharpen. Downsides, they don't hold an edge very long. For me, that's fantastic. Make it tough so it doesn't break, make it easy to sharpen, make it stainless, and I'll sharpen it, because I have to sharpen it every once in a while anyways. It's better than having a steel that holds an edge for a long time that the average person can't get sharp anyways, right?
So would you prefer that in just a normal pocket knife application?
It depends. I had the Kershaw,
Leak?
not leak, I have that. Launch,
Blur?
Link, L-I-N-K. It was their cheapest American-made knife. $40, assisted opening, 420HC steel. I loved it. It was easy to sharpen. It sliced well. It got dull, but maybe twice a week I'd just drop it up or sharpen it. Good to go. Never had any issues. Fantastic knife. $40. The only thing is for a military guy or someone doing hard labor, had a very fine tip. But I sold it to my boss who loved it, and he used it for scraping grout and prying tile and all this other stuff, my old boss, I should say. and he literally wore the entire blade down, not just the edge.
I've seen it.
Just abusing the crap out of it. It was disgusting, and I think then he just lost it. For him, why spend more than $40? For me, why use a knife for something a knife is not for? What I carried to use for those things was a Swiss Army knife, and I would use the screwdriver bits for all of those things that he was using the knife for, and then I still had a sharp knife. Makes more sense to me. Good night, Kipper. Don Sal said time to graduate to American knives or anything, not Chinese. If you're talking about folders, Kershaw does a fantastic job. If you're talking about fixed blades, I'd go straight to Essie, man. Seriously. K-Bar and Becker make some good options and stuff, but I feel like Essie's a cut above with a better warranty and better quality control and better consistency. So
yeah, I've been happy with all those options. I had the
the Firecraft is White River Knife and Tool.
It's White River.
Yeah.
No, my my old platoon sergeant got the
Hungless.
Yeah.
Yep. The Essie Hungless.
Yeah, and he loved that thing. And we've always had Kershaws. I've had the Kershaw Blur, the Leak. I think others.
Yeah.
I had the freaking I forget what it's called, but I've never had any big faults in them, like springs coming out of the handle.
I've had one.
Opens.
I've had one bad Kershaw, and it was the cheapest, one of the cheapest Chinese-made ones that they had at the time. And because they do American-made as well as Chinese or Taiwan, but the knife itself actually is not bad, but it has a beer bottle opener on the back, like right here, and it would scrape against your hand. It was almost sharp when you put your hand into your pocket. And I was like, who designed this thing? It's just not good. But, I like buying American Kershaws, and I will say that they usually, a lot of them have very thin tips, like my Leak.
Yep.
My Scallion had very thin tips. That Link.
Would make anything on the cheaper end? Because I know they have that the premium stuff, but do they have any kind of consumer level?
Hogue pretty much across the board is premium.
Okay.
So I mean, I would say their lowest tier knives would be mid tier, and that would be like my EX02.
Yeah.
And I love the knife, 154 cm. They still use, I think, a good bit of 154 cm, and it's tough. It sharpens easily. It holds an edge a good amount of time. When I compare my 154 cm S35 VN and CPM 20 CV.
When I think about it too, Spyderco has some lower price knives for just kind of Joe Schmoes too. They have some stuff that's not too expensive.
They have
$60, $70, something like that.
So most of Spyderco's affordable stuff is made in Taiwan, I think, and they are good knives, I think, for what they are. And then they have American-made stuff. I think the American-made stuff probably for a locking knife starts at $80 to $100.
Yeah.
A little bit more than Joe Schmo is usually going to pay for a pocket knife.
Sure.
But I love my Spyderco knives.
Absolutely.
Commenter said my favorite currently is Kaiser, alas Chinese Co. So Kaiser knives. How am I forgetting the other brand that I was thinking of? They make phenomenal knives, like easily on par. They're not necessarily really more affordable, but they have more variety, more custom makers, more wild stuff, more colors, and the quality is good. I'm not so much into them. because they're, Chinese specific companies. But Dad's calling you. Half breed blades here. As far as I understand it, the kydex and the handle scales are made in America. The blade itself is made in Taiwan. I have been learning that the Taiwanese manufacturers, like we were just talking about China and Chinese, they can make top quality freaking knives. Someone just commented, nobody wants to talk about the NWO coming in hot. We can talk about the NWO coming in hot, but yeah, it is for sure. Where are the Cry Havoc QRB videos? So what's going on with the Cry Havoc QRB? I am having a hellacious time, and everybody can make fun of me for this. I know it's stupid. With the tapered pins in the fixed front sight post. So long story short, I know which ends are the wide ends and which ends are the narrow ends. I have the Brownells tapered pin block or whatever. I beat on those things. They did not budge at all. I mushroomed the crap out of them. So I cut the mushrooms off. Continued to beat on them. Did not move at all. So I put the project aside for a little bit because sometimes I just need to take a little break, a little time away from a project and then come back to it and I'll be like, oh, this is actually easy. Well, that's not what happened. So I went back to it, still didn't budge, went back to it, still didn't budge. Now I've bought a center punch because I'm going to put a dent in the middle of the pens and start drilling on them. I'm not good at that. A lot of you guys will be like, anybody can drill this out. You just get it perfectly straight, whatever. I can't. I'm gonna screw it up. I called my gunsmith. He told me just drilling myself, it's not a big deal. I'm going to do it. I'm going to mess it up. I'm going to take it to him. He'll laugh at me. But it's just been very difficult for that one part. Let's see what we got going on here. So Jeremiah said he watched a police trainer's 2,000 shot review of the High Point 40 cal. It performed evenly with Glock in all categories, but the most important being it's sexy. So a High Point will not compete evenly with a Glock at almost anything except for maybe a pure accuracy and range reliability, but in a real world scenario, the size and weight of it, the absolute trash quality of the frames, and the long-term reliability, not to mention the cleaning of High Points, is trash.
Not to mention just the overall usability of it. I haven't handled them before, but from what I've seen, they're not as easy to handle, manipulate, and use. Your operation isn't as smooth.
Yeah, they're crap. And people talk about like, oh, well, the pistols are crap, but the carbine's actually good. It was designed for the military. Like, do you realize the carbine is literally the pistol with a dollar store plastic buttstock and a long barrel? It's the exact same mechanism, and it houses the exact same slide.
Well, and it was designed for use by the military is not a benchmark to abide by. There's so many manufacturers and models that are submitted to government, to NATO for consideration, stuff like that. That doesn't mean anything. That's like sending your kid to go compete in the Special Olympics and saying that he tried out for it.
It's a bad deal. They're just bad. Which is why I want to buy one for fun, if I'm going to be honest.
It's tax season.
Yeah, if I get anything back. Nerve said SOG started doing some really, and maybe I should just say SOG, by the way, but I've always said SOG.
Sorry, it's kind of
Most people say SOG.
really.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it's an acronym for Special Operations Group. So it would be SOG. That's where it came from.
But it just sounds too much like NOS.
Yeah, I don't like it.
It's kind of the same like passive sound.
But he said they started doing really nice stuff with their XR line. Yes, they're doing some really awesome American-made stuff. Schrade might have also just gotten bought out by the same company, GSM. I'm not sure. They start doing more American stuff. It seems like GSM, unless I'm mistaken, I would like to talk to them or someone who knows for sure. Seems like they want to have premium products in all of their lines that are American made. And if that's the case, that's great. Daddy knows best. Tops versus SE. SE 10 times out of 10. I'm gonna go with the SE every time. I like some of the Tops designs again for fun, and I think they do have some good stuff. But I think that there's just a whole lot of silly in between the good stuff.
What was the recent run that they came out with, or the one that they publicized? The different like types of models.
I don't know. There's so many. They've literally got like they probably run continuously like 200 models, and then counting everything they've discontinued, they've probably got 500. Who knows? It's ridiculous. It's crazy. But there's some gems in there, and there's a lot of not gems in there. So, quick question about ARs. I just said to put a Ruger AR-556 on layaway at my local pawn shop at $600. It seems to work. The only thing is it wouldn't pivot open. That might just be tight. So just freaking keep using it. Beat those pins out. Beat those pins in. Should pivot open fine.
Be funny if somebody took out the buffer spring and then tried charging it.
Wouldn't be funny.
It would be funny.
It's happened. So I can do a video a little bit about optics. I'm not going to be able to do a video about night vision because I am those PO folks that you mentioned. I need to do a video about night vision. The thing is, guys, night vision is the only superpower that you can buy. That doesn't mean it won't get you killed.
I don't know, meth comes pretty close.
There's that. There's that. But I'm not an optics expert either. But I can touch on it, and I've been meaning to actually. Joshua asked, "Are you going to the SOE for the Preparedness Festival? Lots of speakers giving lectures." I'm kind of not sure about that yet. I believe it's in June. I'm considering it. So it's a big maybe.
I haven't heard of it.
You haven't?
Yeah, I said haven't heard of it.
Oh, I have, but
I'm saying you haven't said anything to me about it. That's what I'm saying.
oh. Okay, Essie all the way. Someone asked, out the front, any mil specs worth it out there? I'm not sure what you mean. Please elaborate.
I think he means like mil spec gear. You know, everybody says don't trust the lowest bidder.
Everybody
I think he
wants
means like
mil spec.
yeah. But then there's the argument it's
Well,
the
it says
lowest bidder. That
Essie
wins.
all the way. OTF. That's an out the front knife. Question mark.
And then
Any mil specs worth it out
I
there?
think that's unrelated.
I think that's
I think
unrelated.
that's a different statement.
But what mil specs are we talking about?
Like mil spec knives,
Elaborate.
like a box of bayonets in the arms room.
Yeah, the actual military issue knives are absolute freaking trash.
But they look cool. Did you ever actually affix a bayonet to your M4?
In basic training.
Did you?
Yeah, we had to do bayonet training, bro.
What?
We actually had a dude stab another dude on accident. We're doing the hook, hook, hook. Yeah, one dude, I think he was turning or something like that. Funk, stuck it right in another guy's arm.
Love it.
Junk. Dude, if the Ruger's the only AR that you could put on layaway, send it and go get training. And as you get training, eventually things will wear out and break. Replace them. Do not go blow a bunch of money on it like a silly goose trying to make it cool. Just get training and replace what's needed. And if you want to buy something as a backup for when it does break, buy an extra bolt. Not a bolt carrier group, just an extra bolt. Maybe firing pin.
So for pawn shop buys, like ARs, what boxes are you checking as you're looking at something?
For an AR?
Yeah.
So, okay, let's say I couldn't see the brand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I have no idea what brand any AR on the shelf is, and I have to look at the ARs to see which one I want without knowing the actual quality behind the name of any of them. I'm going to want a fixed front sight post, a pinned front sight post, because even in premium brands, it is common for the gas block to come loose if it is not a pinned gas block, which most of them are not. And if they come loose, your gun doesn't work anymore, and most people don't know that that's the problem. They'll never figure it out. So a pinned front sight block replaces all of that. That's the front sight post. It looks like a triangle that everybody likes. I want that.
The A2?
Sure. I think that I don't think technically most of those are actually an A2 front sight block.
Well,
I
A2
think
style.
the civilian version is the F marked, but yeah, that A2 style, whatever it is. Okay, I'm going to open up the gun and I'm going to look at the bolt carrier group. I'm going to look at the gas key on top and make sure that the gas key nuts are properly staked. Without being able to show you that right now, but you can look it up. Gas key staking. Look up what it should look like and what it shouldn't look like. After that, dude, I'm going to look for metal shavings, and if it's good to go, I'm going to freaking send it. Make sure it has backup iron sights on the back. I expect it to be Magpul Embus. If it's anything else out of budget, I'm going to have questions because there's so many knockoffs out there. Actually, there's knockoffs of the Magpul Embus too, but freaking whatever, man. If it's got a pinned front sight post or front gas block, it's got a pinned gas block, whether it's free float or a front sight post, and the staking on the gas keys are good, it's probably going to be good. And freaking take it out and find out.
Are there any specific AR brands that you would avoid either off of principle or functionality?
I think we had
reputation.
some guys had bad luck with Diamondback. But if you're looking at a 5.56 standard AR, nah.
Did you say something about DPMS making a comeback? I thought I remember something about that.
Yeah, I don't know much about that, but I'm very intrigued. But yes, DPMS is coming back under the parent company of PSA.
Really?
Big stoked.
I wonder if they're going to be coming out with more aftermarket stuff for things like the G2.
I think they are.
That'd be awesome.
So someone mentioned better yet, build your own. I actually don't recommend that. If you don't know a lot about ARs, don't build your own, because everybody on the range or goes to a training class that says they know a lot about guns with their own built AR has a bunch of failures because they don't stake their castle nut. They don't stake their gas block or whatever they're running up there. Here's the thing with free float with low profile gas blocks. Okay, you can't use red Loctite because it gets too hot. Heat defeats red Loctite. You use Rockset. Do you know what defeats Rockset?
What?
Water.
Really?
The only thing, you dimple them, you screw them up in there, but for the long run, the only thing holding it in there and keeping it in there is something to feed by water. If you actually need to rely on your gun for a long period of time, what are you going to be out in? Freaking water. It's going to rain. You're going to be wet. You're going to be mistreating your crap. And then your gun's going to short cycle and double feed all the time. And you're going to be like, oh, what's happening? And like, it sounds crazy, but even like not being in that scenario, it still happens all the time. So just freaking pin it. Pin all of them. Pin all of the gas blocks.
Well, and it doesn't help that the whole industry, the whole gun industry in general, is based off of like fashion these days. People
Yeah.
are getting free floating handrails for modularity and function. People are buying free floating handguards to be cool and to take Instagram pictures.
Someone Izzy said High Point is still modern tech. No, a direct blowback gun based on Browning's design from like 1910
Yep.
is not modern tech. No, it's not.
It's uglier than 1910 too. 1910 actually looked pretty good.
It's like the High Point is like a 1919, really.
Yeah.
Like it's like a Modus. Big old weight, just. Okay, asked if I've thought about building some bigger blades. I actually was the most well known for large knives for a long time. The Super Kook and the Gunslinger. Actually, Mike Fuller of Tops Knives saw my Super Kook at Blade Show 2016 and was like, dude, you need to design some knives for us. Clearly that fell through. But
you had the workhorse too, didn't you?
the Workhorse was the first knife I designed, also a big blade.
Yeah, that was pretty beefy.
It's pretty cool. Execution of who I had produce it was poor, but yes, that is where we are going. Currently, the Legionnaire Combat is being rendered in AutoCAD, and hopefully we'll have that into production or some pre-production prototypes fairly soon. Yes, bigger is coming. Okay. Someone asked me to explain about night vision. How does night vision get you killed? If you think that you're going to go walk through the woods quietly and ambush somebody because you can see and they cannot, you will get killed. Because they're not moving and you are. And if you can't see someone in the middle of the day because of their camouflage, chances are you also can't see them at night with your night vision. So while somebody is sitting there pulling guard, blind as a bat, and you're walking through the woods and you sound like a train wreck, they can shoot you just by hearing you. The problem is perception and training and understanding limitations. Kind of like white light. Everybody's like, you need a white light on your gun. You need a white light on your gun. You need a white light on your gun. Okay, if you're lighting somebody up in your house that's robbing your house, yeah, freaking white light the crap out of them. But in a gunfight, if you don't know how to use your white light, you die. And nobody wants to learn how to use their white light. And they're not going to teach you in the military, and they're going to make you have a white light on your gun, and then you're never going to be allowed to use it.
That's a funny thing. Everybody wants to say you need toys, but nobody ever uses them. I remember telling you about the 3-gun competition I did when I was still in the Army, and we had like Blue Force or something like that come out with their cool guy speed slings and stuff, and they wanted us all to use them for this 3-gun competition. And I was looking at this dude, and I was like, I'm not putting this on my gun. He's like, well, why not? It'll make you shoot better. And I was like, I've never used this.
So how's it going to make me shoot better when I have no experience with
Freaking retard.
Like-
And when I reloaded, I used the charging handle instead of the bolt release to chamber around.
the right way, by the way.
And the guy was yelling at me. His job is to time me and make sure I'm doing things safe. He's like, "Hey, be quicker if you use your bolt release. Hey, be quicker if you use your bolt release." Freaking dickhead, dude.
People suck. All right, someone asked to see the dog. Dex, come here. Oh, come on, Chunky.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. Oh. Oh, he's not usually up here on the couch. This is Dax.
Oh man, he looks even more mentally deficient on camera than he does in real life. That's impressive.
He's a little bit sped, but he's got all the love. He's not usually up here on the couch, so he's rather uncomfortable. And he has the stankinest farts right now. All right, you gotta get down, buddy. Huh. Jeez, crackers. Stay there. No, get. No. I know you're excited now, but.
Nobody likes you.
Busy Plus said I would go for a Remington 700 bolt action 243 over all AR platforms.
For what application?
Please,
Because if you're talking about for a fighting rifle, you're...
please get training. And I'm not saying that like to be rude. You need context and experience before you make these decisions.
There's a reason we see
It'll always work.
progression
No, it
in
won't.
weapons.
No, it won't. Your bolt action will not always work. And you take your bolt action into a fight, and when it goes down, it stays down.
We were talking about semi-autos versus revolvers at training courses, and the failures that revolvers saw after having their reputations for years and years and years being that they'll never fail.
Someone said, aren't high points made out of Zamac? Zamac is pot metal, usually used for 22 long rifle. It's completely fine for 22 long rifle. But yes, I believe the high points are made out of Zamac, and it's not completely fine for a centerfire.
One of the things that kind of irks me is the acceptance of ideas, even regardless of how long they've been presented, with physically no backing for your own opinion.
So how the Dunning-Kruger effect works is the less experience you have, the more confidence you have in your opinions. So the people that write the longest comments and are just raging out, everybody will read these comments. I just posted one the other day on Instagram. Everybody knows anything will read the comments and be like, what is this guy smoking? So confident. He'll just say the dumbest things on the planet. He has no freaking idea, but the only experience he has is what's going on in this little echo chamber here. No real world experience, no training. The more training you get, the more you learn what you don't know. That's what's important. Have you tested 80CRV2 or 8670? Both absolutely phenomenal. I would say 80CRV2 has better edge holding. 8670 is relatively tougher. A few of my absolute favorite steels. The founder of DPMS has a company called Luth AR. I did not know that Luth AR was owned by the founder of DPMS. That's interesting. Nerve, serious question. If you lived in Canada, would you still own guns, knowing that owning a gun gives the government carte blanche to come into your house and look at your guns at any given time? I would own guns and they would not know about it. And they would not come into my house at any given time. They can go to hell.
fire.
I wear my old ACUs to bed. That way, if an intruder breaks in, they won't see me sleeping in bed. That's not real. We're moving on.
My wife put a bivy sack over her passenger seat so that people can't see the piss stains from our dogs.
Someone asked Australian mixed breed. Yes, he's Australian Shepherd, Australian Cattle Dog. Opinions on 300 Blackout. It's just not for me. I'm not investing in another caliber, and I'm not betting my life on running a gun suppressed. And I'm just gonna keep shooting 5.56.
It's cool.
It's cool.
Yeah.
If it was as cheap and as prevalent as 5.56, would I invest in it? Maybe-ish. Izzy said if they have to reach out, I don't want to be close enough for the ARs others have. Your 243 might be shooting at 300 or 400 yards. It will be more effective than 5.56 at those distances, but you can still reach out to those distances with an AR, and you can do so more effectively.
I'd say that most weapons in general that people own can outshoot the owner.
The owner, yeah, absolutely. Someone said, like high points, I had someone tell me a regular Mosin was just as good as any other rifle. It's because they have no training or experience. It's crazy. So someone got a Raven Arms MP25 for $25. They're made out of Zamac, but it's 25 ACP after all. So 25 ACP is a caliber that should not exist ever, anywhere, for any reason. There's literally no benefit to 25 ACP anywhere. However, if I could buy one for $25 and it ran halfway well, would I play with it? Yes. Would I ever carry it for anything seriously? I will stand on not carrying 22 long rifle for self-defense forever, but I would carry 22 long rifle before 25 ACP. It's so bad. So I don't think you're dumb for buying one for $25. It's kind of cool. But if you can sell it for 50, is it worth buying 25 ACP? It's freaking expensive anyways. So Izzy plus that I've sent thousands of rounds over my life, so I may be a bit partial. I've sent thousands of rounds in a day. I'm telling you, please get training. And I'm not saying this to make fun of you. I'm saying, like, seriously, I want for your good and not for me to sound like I'm speaking from a pedestal to go to tactical response.
I would say, though, that if that is all that you've shot or what has occupied 90% of your experience, then it's probably going to be a better option. If you haven't trained with anything else.
Maybe, but you haven't trained with anything.
Right.
And they said hunter here. Hunting is not fighting. It's not. Hunters don't know how to think about logistics. Hunters don't know how to think about anything other than concealment. Hunting is checkers. Fighting is chess. There are different parameters to the game.
What are the figures for casualties in Vietnam for bullets, for rounds spent and enemies actually killed?
It's astronomical. It's like 5,000 rounds per enemy killed or something insane.
Most of the time you're shooting at a sound in vegetation like that.
In vegetation like that, I mean, I don't have any experience in vegetation like that for fighting in the real world, but that's got to be it's got to be wild. It's got to be absolutely wild. Puff the Dragon. If I have an arterial bleed and I get a TQ on it, but there's no 911, how do someone else treat it? Do I have to learn how to amputate? You have 8 hours with the tourniquet. If you are in America and nobody can get to you within 8 hours, then keep going with it. You can go over 8 hours, but it does start getting dangerous. But seriously, if
Compartment syndrome.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But so watch the time. But seriously, there's nowhere in America, if you can contact anybody, that you should be somewhere over 8 hours with a tourniquet on from arterial bleeding.
If you're at the point where you're going to die of sepsis or compartment syndrome from having a tourniquet on too long, you're probably just as likely going to die from infection if you cut that dead part off.
Yeah, so okay, here's the deal. I'm not going to get to the doctor for 3 days, right? And I have arterial bleeding and I put a tourniquet on. That tourniquet's going to stay on until a doctor gets to it and they can deal with the compartmentalization syndrome or anything else better than me anyways at any point. So tourniquet on does not come off.
It's the whole you don't stuff your buddy's guts back in his stomach because you don't know what you're doing. It's better off just to
put stuff over it and make sure they don't move around too much or fall out more.
Just don't make it worse.
Ghost Tactical, discussion topic for ARs, broomstick, angled, or hand stop. It's just all up to you, man. I don't do any of them anymore. I've got an old Magpul angled forend that I haven't used since I tried putting it on a saw back in the military, and I tried putting it on a saw. Not a good idea. Didn't like it on the AR either. I thought I'd like it. I don't like it anywhere. Don't like it.
It's your preference.
Now, if I have something with a very short barrel, hand stop.
Oh yeah.
If I have absolutely. A 10.5-inch AR, I don't want to get my hand around the flash hider on accident at the last minute. So, shooter preference, Met TC. I don't have a whole lot of, whatever. A lot of people put a vertical foregrip underneath their gas block so that they don't smoke their hands.
Can't just throw out Met TC.
Why? It's the answer for everything. It's lazy.
Oh, yeah.
Why? What?
No, that's it's the most everything answer.
Yeah, but it's how people should be thinking about things.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, should I have a vertical foregrip? Met TC. Should everybody have a hollow sun red dot? Met TC.
Yeah. I guess that's how you should just end your videos from now on.
Met TC.
Yeah, you go through all your information at the end, and then you go Met TC, and then you just end it.
That's a good ending.
Yeah,
I like it.
Catchphrase.
What is your opinion on veterans like Dakota Meyer and Tim Kennedy that bash civilians for training with body armor? They are human pieces of trash. They are dishonorable. Any honor that they could have had from their service, they dishonored when they pissed on their oath. Because a soldier's honor comes from their oath upon entry. If they piss on that oath, they're just a dirtbag mercenary. And you could be a good mercenary and be honorable. Or you could be a dirtbag.
Can confirm.
Explain my 600-yard dingers. I mean, anybody can shoot at 600 yards. Especially with a bit of time. And you can do it with a 5.56. And if that dinger isn't moving, it's a lot easier. If you've got a spotter, it's a lot easier. If you've got a big scope, it's a lot easier. Shooting a 600-yard dinger does not take any explaining. And for 99.9% of the people that start throwing around long distances, I'd like to see a laser rangefinder too, because I can't tell you how many times someone said they're shooting 800 or 900 yards, and you laser rangefind it, and it's like 250 or 300.
I also like to see the effectiveness of your response if you're getting shot at, or if you're having to maneuver, if your heart rate is elevated, if you got to keep somebody's head down while somebody else moves.
Bears, wolves, and big cats do exist. Yes, I shot at a big cat on my property. Still not a fight. What's up? Currently doing a 2.5 mile ruck run with the dog and enjoying the live stream. Also, anyone that wants to learn more about logistics, I highly recommend S2 Underground. So, a lot to unpack there. If you're doing a 2.5 mile ruck run with your dog, that is phenomenal. I wish everybody was doing that. I wish I was doing that.
Let's say that.
That's absolutely fantastic. The fact that there's something out there that exists called S2 Underground blows my mind. The world needs nerds. S2 is Intel, isn't it?
Like, I don't remember.
I worked with military intelligence.
They all just blur together.
Yeah. Well, your S1 shop is like your logistics and your paperwork. S2 is Intel. I worked with S2. I'm like 90% sure, but maybe things have gotten a little bit blurry. So S2 Underground, it's like underground military intelligence. I'm very interested in that. I would be very concerned about it being controlled opposition or a plant or psyops or something else. Very concerned. The cats are pretty wild. I had a chicken problem. One of my YouTube videos recently, I was sitting here talking to the camera and I heard something. It was in the middle of fall, so there are no leaves on the trees, but all the leaves are crunchy. I heard something probably 100, 150 meters out. And in the video, I'm talking and I look back and then I look forward and I keep talking and then my mouth just goes open as my brain registers. I was like, I turn around, shot at it. Missed. Would have been sick to frickin' bag a mountain lion in the backyard. Glad you got your knife. I hope that you absolutely love it. And yes, for Izzy, if you have thousands of rounds through your 243 and right now you have to pick up and fight that 240 with that 243 or an AR that you're not familiar with, pick up what you know, get some training with the AR though. Get training with the AR. It's just it's a responsibility. It really is. It's a responsibility for any self-owning person to have training with a fighting pistol and a fighting rifle. It is a responsibility for any Christian to have training with a fighting pistol and a fighting rifle. Someone said, yes, S2 is Intel. That's what I thought. Someone said, have you trained with anyone else besides Tactical Response? I've trained with DTI, which is John Farnham. I've trained with a couple of smaller places that you wouldn't know of. I will go train with Combat Art Training. I'm guessing at some point I'll probably train with John Lovell. We will see. And for bushcrafty survival stuff, I've done a class at SE. I've helped teach a couple classes, and I've done some stuff with Justin Vidito.
Who's the guy in Texas that you talked about too?
Sonny Pazookas. Mm-hmm. I'd really like to train with Sonny. Forward Observer is better than S2 Underground. S2 Underground people plagiarize Forward Observer's work, but sub to both channels. Really would be concerned about these guys being plants, being glowies, because people that shouldn't have intel that do have intel are typically getting some good information from the government and adding a whole bunch of other BS to taint it. The devil's in the details, remember. Freaking... Like,
are you familiar with these channels or whatever?
No, but I'm familiar with, I think there's the type of stuff they do. But if you're going to name yourself S2 Underground, I have questions.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
Are you familiar with them?
No. But I just figured by logistics they were just talking about like advice. I don't think they were talking about like actual intel being on the YouTube channel.
They probably.
Uh,
Alex Jones.
I'm not gonna lie, Joe. I'm kind of retarded.
The dude.
I'll tell you right now. I would literally eat my neighbor if I had to. Shit in the fan right now. I'd go over to my neighbor's house and I'd eat him from the ass up.
Dude's a psyop. I wish he wasn't, guys. I wish he was.
I like watching him though,
He's entertaining.
and I like watching the parodies of him.
It's fantastic.
Chemicals in the water's making the freaking frogs scary. Love it.
Last Fatal said, Jacob, I'm still salty about the Glock over 1911 vid. Man, I'm telling you guys.
You guys can blame me partially for that.
Nobody was saltier about the 1911 Glock video than me. Nobody. And now, looking back at the 1911, I'm salty about it for the opposite reason. I love that. I love my 1911s, and I love that 1911, and it was stupid. So he said it's a YouTube channel that covers comms, logistics, and does intel reports, etc. The intel reports I'm going to be concerned about.
Yeah.
Big time.
No doubt. Especially on a platform like YouTube. But realistically, anywhere. I mean, you hear about sting operations on the dark web or the deep web or whatever. Of course, that's going to be more monitored than anything else. They had a whole site on there, whatever, called Silk Road, where they were selling guns and drugs and stuff like that illegally. How can that not be monitored by the federal government when Joe Schmoes are downloading a internet torrent and getting on there?
Yeah.
How is the FBI or whatever not going to be there?
So someone says that goes without saying 11Bs are important. They are generally used after scouts have gathered info. So what I'm going to tell you...
That's how it's supposed to work.
That's how it's supposed to work. What I'm going to tell you as a civilian, as someone looking at the crap hitting the fan here, there is nothing more important than intel. And the ability to sit and not be seen and take notes and gather intel is going to be 1,000,000 times more valuable than the ability to kick in a door and go get killed. So small unit tactics from a civilian perspective means that you can't afford to lose anybody. The intel has to be there, it has to be right, and it means you have to get it the old-fashioned way. And the government, with all of its resources, still use scouts or potentially infantrymen to gather information the old-fashioned way.
But for the most part, most big army scouts are going to be basically operating like mechanized infantry in Humvees or strikers or whatever like that. And most actual scout stuff and intel gathering is going to be done by Charlie sections in infantry battalions.
Well, Charlie sections, I think, in Cav. I don't know. I don't think normal infantry units Charlie sections.
Well, I got some buddies who are, or I got a buddy who's a sniper in an infantry battalion Charlie section.
And he's a scout?
Yeah, they
and he does actual scout stuff.
Yeah, the scouts are integrated into the
so in an infantry battalion, the Charlie company or troop is scouts.
Like
but in a Cav,
or whatever.
But in a Cav unit,
they are infantry.
The Charlie troop is the deep reconnaissance scouts, but they're infantry.
Correct. No, 100%.
Cav's retarded, guys.
It's ridiculous.
The Cav is retarded.
And the thing is, you'd have these motivated young Huas who are Cav scouts and they want to go to these Charlie sections and they want to go to sniper school and stuff, and they're like, yeah, we're not sending any scouts to sniper school, sorry.
So, and the other thing is, you have there's a difference between being in a scout platoon or a scout company or being a scout by MOS. So to be an actual scout, like on Fort Campbell, you would have to go to another unit when they're having tryouts and try out for their scout section, and it's hard, and they want freaking awesome dudes, and your regular 19 Delta dudes,
Yeah.
they're you know, being a scout by MOS is no qualification for being a competitive scout.
Right.
You know what's funny is like infantry guys know 11 Bravo, and that's about it. And it's like everybody else knows every MOS. So people were like, "Oh, you know, I was this MOS, they were that MOS, this, that, and the other," and I'm like, "It's all not 11 Bravo." So, the other thing that's funny is like, and I got into fights with the Black Rifle Coffee guys.
Yeah.
And we did a lot of stuff with ODA, which is Special Forces guys over on deployment. They're like, "What group were you with?" I don't know. I don't remember. I don't even care. "Oh, you must be lying because anybody who's working with Special Forces is going to know exactly what group they are." Are you worshiping them? Like, what? Why would I care? Freaking, I don't know. I was in Campbell. I lived for a while with my buddy who's Special Forces, even if he's a water dog. And my best man in my wedding is Special Forces at Campbell. I don't even remember what group they are, and we did stuff with them all the freaking time. I think it's 6th group? 5th? Is there even a 6th group?
I know there's a 5th group, and I know that's Fort Campbell.
I have no freaking idea. I really couldn't care less. And Alex Jones is entertaining, and I do enjoy him, and I wish that we could trust him like people do, but you can't.
Interdimensional transcommunication, Joe. My father designed it back in 1962. It was a headset. Here's a picture of it. You can look it up on the internet.
Someone said, Last Fatal again said, "Anyone else feel like the subs here are the scragglers from other channels? Like we're the most real of the real?" Yeah, that's accurate.
Yeah.
You guys gonna have dessert soon or what?
Oh yeah, we need to do that probably pretty soon. I'm going to check out both the S2 logistics video and the Forward Observer videos with. Dang, he did it again. Golly.
I don't smell anything.
This guy said our CIA agents are probably bored as hell, like these guys are, just a bunch of knife geeks. I bet you I've got some trails. That's probably why my Instagram got shut down. Which, by the way, I'll do another video about it. But I'm going to do an Instagram backup account and probably completely start switching over to there because my Instagram has been absolutely stomped flat. I'll make a post, no matter how popular it is, almost no non-followers will see it. Whereas on my other Instagram page, I would have a ratio of about 250 followers to about 1,000 non-followers see a given post. On my page for this channel, I'll get like 1,200 followers who see a post and 2 non-followers. And that's how they crush the page. They just make sure that nobody new ever sees what you do. Or maybe I should go private. And then people would have to request to follow. And then maybe I wouldn't get stomped as hard.
I don't know.
Or lose as much. I don't know. All right, guys. We'll wrap it up. Doggone, we've got dessert to eat.
We do.
You have dessert to eat. So I hope that you have a blessed evening. Super stoked for Mitchell. I will be shipping your knife, the purple handle scaled model, in the mail most likely on Monday. Not a guarantee depending on my computer situation. It's been a good time. Is there any way to get out of being profiled? I feel like the credit system's here already. Yes, it is here already. Become ungovernable. That's all I can say for now. Have a good night. And Met TC.